So I began with the Rupe. I first heard of it when I was a sophomore and had just transferred to campus. It was a cool program. It was a new experience. I had never been to Latin America, but as I began to discover more through the program coordinator, Margaret Nuzzlees, and a couple of other members of the BC community who had been involved, I discovered it was much more about that, more than that. Rupe is a global movement. It's an outward-looking worldview that seeks a faith that does justice. It was a vision that really inspired me, and I decided, as a group of people committed to living out these ideals, the Jesuit values, and putting them into action through direct service and contact with the poor, I just wanted to get involved. It was a hugely powerful experience, hearing the stories of locals firsthand. I remember one moment I was kind of overblown by the scale of poverty and the system and all of the kind of injustices and various different scales of the system that we live in that were working against these people. Yet still there were small acts of heroism in every day. It was a time where I combined with other BC students. We would meet once a week for 2 hours, and that was huge because I think if we are to live out faith that does justice, it must be done in community. And I was hugely supported and guided by my mentors and leaders and co-participants. I think faith is a verb, it's an action, it's a way of being in the world. It's the eyes through which and the lens through which you see the world. For me, my faith is about finding God and seeing God in all things. In, for example, the design of maybe an iPhone or the kind of curves on a tree. God can be found and God can be sought in all of those things, and particularly in the poor. The message of Jesus in the gospel, he says, what you do to the least of my disciples, to the least of my brothers, you did it to me. I don't think that one's faith should be limited to the four walls of a chapel. I think it's something that is present. We are the living embodiment of Christ and God's love in the world. And so when I'm talking to somebody, I really try and pay attention to what they're saying, to look them in the eye and say, yes, I'm here, yes, I care. And that is a prayer for me.